friends, compatriots, comrades, peace, liberty, and justice for mankind are threatened as they have never been since World War II. Putin's nuclear blackmail is leading us to World War III. Humanity would never tolerate it, as Elie Wiesel said. We, Chinese, we will never tolerate it. The heroic resistance of the Ukrainian people, the righteous assistance of volunteers from many countries, and the anti-war movement of the Russian people are admirable. They encourage the free world and ask each member of our human family to act for peace. Although the United States and the Western NATO countries participated in assisting Ukraine, they did not play their due role. They have the power to end the war, but they lack the courage to act, and the Western to deliver more effective solutions. Their main goal is to bring down Russia rather than prioritizing the defense of peace and the protection of the lives of innocent civilians. Today, the appeasement tradition still rules the European continent. The politicians are stern in appearance but weak in heart. Their irresponsibility has encouraged the bellicose and has exposed 8 billion people around the world to the threat of nuclear war. This is a shame to all peaceful nations. A gentleman curbs evil and promotes good to pursue the rule of heaven and the happiness of life. So does a nation. Considering the passivity of Western countries, China must assume its responsibility to protect all humanity. For more than 100 years, the Chinese people have suffered from invasions of foreign powers. Our hearts go out to the Ukrainian people who are suffering the same tribulations. Ending the war as soon as possible and restoring peace is the common hope of all mankind. This is now China's responsibility. Since the beginning of the war, China has actively sought courageous, wise, and effective solutions. After negotiating with the governments of Ukraine, South Korea, Japan, and the Asian countries, as well as with the Russian peaceful force, we are proposing the Peace to End the War plan, whose main points are here. First, China, South Korea, and Japan will mobilize peacekeeping troops to set up humanitarian protection regions in Ukraine to serve war refugees and to facilitate their return after the war. These peacekeeping troops will protect the regions from attacks and will not participate in the war. We invite all peaceful nations to participate in or assist in this humanitarian protection action. China's support for the Ukrainian people is determined. Putin's defeat is inevitable. The Russian army will completely lose all will to fight. Putin's downfall is imminent and the war will soon be over. Second, China, Japan, South Korea, and ASEAN will jointly mobilize a team of medical volunteers to participate in humanitarian protection activities in Ukraine. Peoples of peace-loving countries in East Asia, including Russia citizens, can apply to participate in these activities. Third, organize a group of international reporting volunteers to bring the truth to the world in a more objective way. Journalists from all countries, including Ukraine and Russia, who love peace and are faithful to journalistic ideas are welcome, as well as journalists from Chinese Taiwan. Fourth, organize a special international war crimes investigation team for an independent investigation into the crimes of the Russian army, in particular the Bucha massacre. The Russian army has a dirty tradition of massacring civilians in their occupied territories and of genocide. They were never punished. The weakness and the cowardice of Western countries have tolerated the atrocities of the Russian army. It is a shame to all mankind. We will never tolerate them, nor forgive them. Fifthly, organize a reconstruction advisory team for Ukraine to assist in its post-war economic transformation and revitalization. After the implementation of the Peace to End War plan, the Ukrainian people will quickly defeat Putin. It's therefore also time to prepare for reconstruction. Ukraine's economic problems before the war were grave. It is also a failure of Western economics. We are willing to share the successful experience of Eastern Asian economic reforms with Ukraine. Confucian humanistic economics will help the Ukrainian people achieve a common prosperity. Sixthly, establish an international group of ecological volunteers to help Ukraine in post-war environmental restoration. Environmentalists from all over the world will be welcome to help the Ukrainian people rebuild their homes and allow the world to see a hopeful, independent Ukraine. Seventhly, call on all nuclear weapon states to sign a no first use of nuclear weapons convention and abandon their nuclear deterrence policies. Nuclear war will destroy all mankind. Whoever speaks with nuclear blackmail declares war on all mankind. All decision makers and executives in each country's nuclear weapon system must bear their responsibilities as human beings. A nation that engages in nuclear war and destroys peace will be punished by heaven. Eighthly, China will launch democratic political reform and propose the establishment of a union of democratic and peaceful nations to more effectively safeguard the peace, liberty, and justice for mankind. Cultivating yourself to set a good example of peace for others is a Confucian diplomatic principle that China has followed for thousands of years. Confucian humanistic democracy is a Chinese political tradition. After a long period of active research and prudent practice, China's political reform plan, based on the humanistic democracy model, is now prepared and can be put in place immediately. We welcome democrats around the world to pay attention to or participate in this great historical process. The current UN mechanism cannot effectively stop invasion. China, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore must jointly initiate the establishment of the Union of Democratic and Peaceful Nations as a new and stronger force for maintaining peace. The Russia-Ukrainian war proves that only on the basis of democracy it can be possible to build a community with a shared future for mankind. Human nature is good. Harmony is the most precious. The only legitimate reason to use the military is to aid war. This is the meaning of the Chinese character military, and it is also the spirit of Confucian humanitarianism, courage, wisdom, and strength. The Russia-Ukrainian war is not a war between the Ukrainian and the Russian peoples, but an attack by the dictator Putin on the peace of the whole humanity. We must not tolerate it. We should act immediately. I will say to Putin, whoever crafts the secret stance is a hero. For the future of the Russian nation, he should understand this Chinese proverb. Friends, compatriots, comrades, the peace to aid the war plan will not only aid the war in Ukraine, but will also establish a powerful new mechanism for maintaining perpetual peace in the world. This will be the union of democratic and peaceful nations. It will make the Russian-Ukrainian war the last war in human history. Maintaining peace requires our conscience, our courage, and our unity. China and East Asian countries are willing to set an example as precursors. We first invite member states of the European Union to join us. For peace, for liberty, for justice. Szacowamy Україну!